Get mantra and meditation MP3s at JasonGallant.ca. Today I thought I'd talk about the most misunderstood part of the spiritual enlightenment path. It's the most frustrating part, honestly, because most people start the spiritual path because they want stuff. They want to get stuff. They want to find easier ways to obtain or get stuff. It's all based on desires. And then there's also the other part, which is I want to prevent stuff. I want to find easier ways to prevent stuff, to control things, which is the fear, right? The fear and the desire. And this aspect is where most begin the spiritual path, because when you are in the ego, you are dominated by these two things. Nothing wrong with it. It's just the journey of the ego. But at some point, you will become aware that no matter what kind of stuff you get or what kind of stuff you prevent, there's something missing. It's kind of like winning a game. Maybe it's a video game, or maybe it's some sort of game that you master and you win it and you're like, oh, it's kind of anticlimactic. I was expecting more. Where's the rest of the winnings, right? Where's the big bunch of joy that's supposed to hit me after I won? So that's why there's always that depression that sometimes hits athletes after they win something. They have this massive high, and then after they're like, oh, now what? It's like their entire life was about a goal to achieve this gold medal, or maybe it's a Stanley Cup or championship of some sort in whatever kind of game they're in. And then after, life is empty again, and they have to create another goal. And this constant merry-go-round of goals and obtainment, it's just this, it's almost like a, you know, the hamster wheel. It's like that. Always got to run on that hamster wheel, otherwise life is empty. That's really the ego. The ego is always dominated by the hamster wheel. Now the neat part is, once you start on the spiritual journey, sometimes you will chant mantra, you will do puja ceremony, you may change your intent in your mind, you know, wish for stuff, but do it from a different place than just physical. And you start to get things. Sometimes things start to happen. Sometimes all the things you wanted start to show up. And then at some point, it stops. It's almost like your ego gets enticed by getting what it wants, and then from there, it starts to seek that, and in the end, it seeks its own doom, right? So it's a funny irony, right? But in the end, what happens is that as your ego is enticed to move further on the spiritual journey, something much bigger than the desires and the destruction of your fears happens. Something much larger than that, than the superficial things that you wanted. You get something bigger than that, something more unconditional. Something that isn't dominated on constant movement and conditions. In the end, that's what you want. I mean, everybody wants it, even if they don't know they want it. They want freedom without condition. Everlasting, beautiful experience of life without condition. Without having to earn it in every single moment. That would be ideal, right? I mean, be neat just to wake up and not have to earn happiness. Get out of bed, you lazy, you get going, you do stuff. Otherwise you can't be happy, right? So don't get discouraged if you're not getting the same results as you used to from doing intent work or doing mantras for a certain purpose, because that just means you're going to the next stage of your spiritual journey. If I just crossed my eyes there, it's because there's a little fly here. But yeah, when you go to the next stage of your spiritual journey, what happens is you move deeper into the unconditional. You realize the you, the who you are, that is in the unconditional instead of the conditional you. I guess that's a good way to put it. There's a conditional you made up of thoughts and identification, which is the ego, and you start to let go of pieces of that and naturally fall back into what was already there the entire time, which is the true you. The you who is free of condition. This is really where all spiritual practice leads to. There can be a lot of, dips and doodles and, falling off the path or the trail, rolling down a hill into a swamp, hitting a tree. All the birds fall out of the tree. Squirrels get mad at you, throwing down nuts. That's kind of what the spiritual path looks like sometimes, it's all a bunch of catastrophes and cleanses, and then you get what you want, and it's just drama, right? It's just drama. And then all of a sudden, poof, nothing. It's all gone. That's it. There's just this, and this unconditional freedom that is here. So again, if you're experiencing drama, if you're experiencing lots of stuff, that's normal. It's the unraveling of illusion. The unraveling of illusion. It's like pulling dirty shoelaces apart, untangling them, and it's like there's nothing but dust and dirt flying everywhere. It's like that. And then there's freedom from those divine feet, or freedom for those divine feet. So your journey evolves. It evolves beyond the simple things that you want, the simple things that you want to control, and then eventually it evolves into a deeper level of surrender, love for the sake of love itself, and a very heightened state of awareness around sacredness, if that's even a word, but how sacred moments are. You see, the mind glances over such magical moments. It just superficially touches things. But when the mind is no longer running the show, the self sees something much bigger, much more depth. There's more meaning without thought. It's meaningful without thought. It's this deep saturation of reality. You see, a lot of times control is about keeping something distant, staying apart from something so it can be analyzed. But when surrender and love hit, there is just this union and the joy of the union itself. That's what they mean by oneness, where everything becomes one, everything is one. There's no more this separate, this pushing away, controlling, analyzing. I want this thing that's separate from me. You only want that thing because you feel that you're separate from it. But if you are not separate from it, that thing is you. I never crave to have my hand. I mean, it's already part of me, right? So the deepening of this sacred experience is really what this path's about. And all sorts of drama and things can happen at the same time. You can be as human as you want. All that stuff happens. But as that drama is unfolding, you are becoming more powerful in your ability to experience the depth of reality, the true depth of reality. So I hope this helps you on your spiritual journey. Take care for now. Are you interested in working with a spiritual teacher in a formal setting? Well, perhaps the Wisdom Life School is for you. If you're interested in checking out what the Wisdom Life School is all about, just go to aratima.com.